dum, dum, dum. This week, this app is happening now. This app is with a rock star. This app is an app of IDK with Kline Yost. This app is unfolding as we are. This very app begins soon with Greta Kline of the band Frankie Cosmos. We talk about music. And you know what? I'm ready to come undone. I'm ready to come undone, appeal who I've become, and find that I'm the one. I'm the one, yeah. I'm the one, you know, you looking at me and you know the money never lies. I'm the one, yeah. I'm the one, yeah. And the only women wanna imitate us. Damn. I wish Greta wrote that song. Then we'd really have had something to talk about on the pod. Okay, IDK, let's go.
Hi.
Hi. I know there's something about the camera being here. Like before it was over there and I keep being like I can't stop. But we'll forget about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget it.
So thank you for coming on my podcast.
Of course.
It's IDK with Caroline Yost. It's a podcast where we're like, we don't really know, but maybe by not knowing we could know. And how that works, I don't really know. Oh fuck. Oh no, it's on. So I thought that maybe I wasn't recording on that, but
Cool. Do you have to clap or anything? Like, how do you sync them up?
No. I pressed it really close to each other,
cool.
So I clapped just because it kind of makes a nice echo in here.
Yeah.
But I'll just line them up.
When you pressed record, you were like, I'm gonna tell you something. I have to tell you something.
Oh right. So
Like,
this is a podcast where we're intuitive about our ideas and we don't think that we have to know so much, and then we're also kind of honest because that's a good way to talk about your ideas in a real way. And also we're funny and a whole bunch of other stuff, and maybe we even have sort of we experience each other, and so those are all the things that I'm thinking about, and we can just access those things. And what I like to do at the beginning of the podcast is ask or tell you why I brought you on the podcast.
I would love to know.
I tell the person why I brought them on the podcast, and then that can be a jumping off point.
Amazing.
You had posted, or it wasn't even you, but your new album came out recently.
Yeah.
And there was some kind of promotional thing that came out along with it that was 5 things that Frankie Cosmos recommends.
It was like an interview I did.
Yeah. And the last thing on there was the Martha Graham letter to Agnes to me.
My fave.
Yeah, and I'd never seen that before or read that before.
Did it blow your mind?
It did blow my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm almost like, should I reread it?
Yeah.
I think we should read it.
Yeah. That is wow, I'm so glad that I could share that with you.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes. Because to me, I was like, I have to find my phone. Or should I pull it up on this computer? This is
real and honest.
This is real and honest. We're not gonna cut this out. I'm gonna pull it up on the computer.
Cool.
Yeah, because I had it's interesting because this whole idea of your being a channel as a part of your creativity, I feel came the first time I had ever heard that was in like the artist way.
I'm just obsessed with
Greta's laughing because on my computer it says very rare, obscure, creepy freaks cartoon.
This is YouTube with the search creepy freaks. I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it either, quite frankly.
So,
have you read the artist way?
No. I mean, I know about it.
You know about it.
I mean, I've heard about it, honestly, mostly on Seek Treatment. They talk about it a lot.
Oh, do they?
But I did try for years to do, or for a year.
To buy
years
it?
ago. No, to do the, like, morning
The morning pages.
Thing,
Yeah, we have 3 copies of that book in this house.
Wow.
I have to say, I never actually finished the whole thing.
That's what it seems like everybody says about
Yeah,
it.
it's like
you just kind of took
some ideas from it. Yeah.
Skim it. Yeah.
But it was like the first time I'd ever like heard of like art and like art as like a way of being in touch with like a creator, because like she has like God as a big part of like how she teaches people to like unblock themselves creatively. Cool. And at the time, probably when I first read the book, I was like, I didn't believe in God. So I kind of thought of it as like I think at some point she even says it like the great creator, and that I was like, okay, I can get the idea that there's something bigger than
God's
myself.
An artist.
God is an artist, exactly.
Creator. Like a content creator.
Exactly.
The first form of art.
The first form of art, content.
Yeah, exactly. What's the important form of art?
Yeah, and it'll last forever.
Wow.
Into all of history.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought about it this way, but the great creator is the first content creator.
Yes.
And we are the content.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. I can't wait till our content starts making content.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'll be
be something. Maybe that's something in the AI. Those AI DALL-E generators.
You put your content into AI.
Yeah.
So
and then
see what it wants to make.
Yeah.
But so that made you believe in God? Her book? No. Her book was like God. Well, it referred to God as the great creator, and then you said
was like,
religion.
I definitely think it like probably had some. It definitely like helped me make this connection between like performance and presence and like getting in touch with myself and like being with people. Yeah. So I think it kind of like opened my mind to some of the things that I do think are helpful, because I think so much like our concept of being an artist in life is like about like the ego, or a lot of ways that like artists are kind of critiqued or like shunned from society, is that like, oh, what you're doing is like self-indulgent and egoistic, and like you're just like getting yourself off, like and there's an element of that is fun and that we're doing, but also like this idea that it's like, oh, it could be about something much greater, and actually like part of what you're doing is like giving up control. Mm-hmm. And I think this letter really beautifully kind of puts that out. Do you want to read it?
I don't see it.
Can you read it? Is it too
I don't think that's... Oh, there it is. Yeah, you should read it.
Okay.
You have a good speaking voice.
Oh, shucks. Okay. So this is an experiential aspect of the podcast. So everyone, listen. There is a vitality, a life force, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there is only one of you in all time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium and be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable it is, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep open and aware directly to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction whatever at any time. There is only a queer, divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive than the others. than the others.
So good.
Yeah.
This webpage has periods where I think there's really more line breaks.
Right. Yeah, I did. I felt like I read it before. I read it before, and I was like,
you were like, this flowed different before.
Yeah, it did flow different. Yeah.
Someone put some periods in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
I was just thinking as you were reading that I'm so lucky that I read that when I was a teenager.
Absolutely.
And it's actually must be so hard as an adult to try and be like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But like, I just got lucky that like I learned it when I was young enough that I could like decide that that's truth.
Right.
And it's like I didn't have, whatever, like more years to undo like not knowing that.
Not knowing that, yeah. And I feel like you had like influences like growing up that were like art embracing.
Totally. Well, yeah, my dad showed me this.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, like learning. Because I'm like, sometimes I feel like so much about being an artist is like keeping yourself being an artist or like not giving up on the thing because it's not, a lot of it is like a lot of toiling and tireless work and striving in this way.
Yeah.
And there's not as much reward as people think sometimes.
Yeah.
Or maybe everyone knows there's not reward, and that's why it's like, why are you doing that? It's not very productive.
Yeah.
Why are you fucking doing that?
Totally.
So I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, or I had this, like, I felt like when I first moved to New York and I was like trying to pursue art, like I got really depressed and like down on myself, and like I had been like a pretty high achieving kid, and I think I was like not, finding success or like, and not just in that like as far as from my peers, but also just like having a hard time figuring out how to do it myself. Mm-hmm. And I like, and in some ways I think that time was really good for me and for it to happen so early on in my own like adult life, because it like forced me to change the way I was relating to it, where I was like, life is a marathon and you just gotta like put your head down and like keep going, and like the goal is like never quit making art. Like that's all you focus on is like, what do I need to do to not quit doing this? But I still hadn't had something. I think that like bringing like the idea of, and the thing that I think I really like about this is the idea of the channel, of like taking out like the self from the equation and being like, and also like the non-judgment thing. Like I was telling you right before we started recording, like feeling sort of self-conscious about the podcast in a number of ways. And I was actually thinking about this where I was like, I don't have any right to judge it. I don't have any right to judge it.
Yeah,
like I'm not judging it. I had this idea, and I just go with this, and this is what I'm doing.
That's how you know that you're intuitive. Like, you know what I mean? That's you like acting on the
impulse
in a good way.
Yes,
that's amazing.
Yeah. Do you think about this like every day of your life?
I do think about it a lot.
Yeah.
And I recommend it a lot.
Yeah.
Like anytime someone says like, I'm sad, I'm like, read this.
Right.
But I think another thing that another take on this that I'm just thinking of now is like that, part of being an artist, and this is also part of, there's no satisfaction whatever at any time, is that like you have to keep making art forever, like you said. It's like it's a marathon. You never ever stop. You're never like, well, I made it, my best thing ever, and now I'm done. It's like no, you have to keep going. Like you're like, and it's because that's who you are. That's like part of your core like being, is that you like have to make something. And I think the hard part is like, the hard part, like, but pursuing art as like a career that's the part where it gets toxic and hard.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, how do I package this? How do I like put it out? How do I like release it and promote it and
and get anyone to care about it?
Because like because by the time you're putting it out, ideally you have a bunch of ideas for the next thing you want to make.
Right.
So like you're already kind of over it almost.
Right.
Or like hopefully. Because you have more ideas and more. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's part of what.
And it can be tiring to be stuck in the process of like working on something that you feel like you've moved past. Yeah.
Well, in a weird way, I mean, this time in my life is the weirdest. Like for the first 7 years that I was like pursuing music, I was being like a touring musician.
Right.
And now for the last 2 years, I haven't been. So it's like I have even more time to think about this, which is like before it was like you write a song and you're going to be playing it every night for 2 years. Right. Like you're not going to be working on new music. You're going to be on tour playing that song from when you were whatever age. And you're going to keep playing it. And that's the job part. And then now it's like, oh, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll just make something else now. Like, I don't know. I think that's like a kind of exciting. I mean,
because you're not doing a tour for this album.
No, not a standard one. I mean, I'm trying to book shows and stuff, but it's like it's the music industry is like crumbling, so it's like not the same at all. So I'm kind of just like, hey, maybe this is my time to do something different. Yeah. Like to just keep making stuff and make other stuff and whatever.
Do you feel free by that? Like you're sort of like or what's your relationship to touring? Like, are you happy to not do it, or do you miss it? Or
I was happy for the first like year and a half of COVID. I was like, wow, what a treat. No work today. And then I was like, I do miss it. Yeah. I think it's hard because the thing I miss, it's kind of like going through like a breakup. It's like the thing I miss doesn't exist anymore. Right. Like the version of it that I miss is touring in 2019.
Interesting.
And touring now looks really different and is scary and not as lucrative and not as painless. Or not that it was ever painless, but it's more painful now, it seems. It seems that people are really like it's hard out there. So I'm like we've just been like putting it off. But I'm trying to like dip a toe in. I'm trying to like book some stuff and try it out because it's like I need to know, how it is, but how it feels. But I think the pandemic, it made me really reevaluate my relationship to live music versus recorded music and writing versus performing and that stuff. And they're different. They're just like different art forms. Like, I don't actually know that I need performance as part of my life at all. Yeah. Like, because I went so long without it. I went the longest I've gone since I started performing. Like I went the longest I've gone since then without performing. Right. And it was not so bad. I was like, okay, I can just write. Or do other.
And this could be something that I live my life by. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the pandemic did influence us all.
Yeah.
It's funny because in my experience, it's actually made me like really go hard back into performing.
Well, I think it did that for a lot of people also. Like musicians too.
Only because I remember like in the midst of it having thoughts where I was like, because I was making a lot of like, when the live scene shut down right as COVID began, I like shifted all my effort. I was like living with William, and we started making videos all the time, which was actually amazing. Or like I was really lucky to have that because
not all comedians can make videos.
Not all comedians can make videos, and not all comedians had like another comedian to make videos with. Totally. So I was like very blessed in that situation to like have a way to like keep making stuff.
Yeah, your guys' videos really make me laugh.
Oh, thank you so much. Really they're pretty crazy. Yeah. But that felt so good to have. And it made me get to a place where I was like, maybe I don't need to perform live or something. Yeah. And then
the itch comes back.
And then I'm
feeling it now. I'm like literally 3 years in. I'm like, okay, yeah, no.
Right now I could. I might do it once in a while. Yeah. Cause like I had like a couple like bad shows that made me be like, I don't know. And then I had one show that was amazing and I was like,
you're like, there it is.
This is why I do it. Like I was like ecstatic.
I do think performance is transcendent.
Totally.
It can at its best.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you are like a musician who like you're someone who does play the same songs every night, and I feel like it's like, what's the level?
Are there musicians who don't do that? Like,
no, but I feel like there's like jam bands, or like jazz musicians. Like it's like much more improvisational.
Standards.
There are standards, but it's a standard because they're making a lot of variations.
No, we're not jamming. We're not making a lot of variations each night.
Yeah.
We tend not to do,
which is great.
But I actually do think that there is like small changes that like change over
time.
Like if you play a song on tour for 3 years, like it's gonna be
it's gonna evolve.
Or, like,
totally.
The way of singing it will change at least. Like, or I'll add like a little riff,
a little ditty, yeah, but, a little dangle, a dongle.
Yeah, but comedy's like that too, and you have to make it feel like you're coming up with it on the spot.
Totally. Yeah, it's interesting you saying that made me think about it. That's how like my sketch group Simple Town works a lot. Like we kind of like what we have at the beginning of a written sketch. I mean, sometimes there's more of a fleshed out script and sometimes it's more of like kind of like beats or like a roadmap with like some lines. But how the sketch actually goes really evolves as we perform it. Like it becomes what the sketch is through all the times that we perform it.
Yeah, totally.
Rather than being like...
And that's like the point.
And that's the point, yeah. And that's how it is so good.
That's, I mean... Collaboration is so beautiful for that reason too, because it's like if you were doing it alone, it wouldn't change probably as much each time.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like with that group, I've gotten to this point where like, because a lot of people think that what we do is improvised, because it's like very riffy in that like we have a structure for a sketch, but like the lines, like the actual words we say are often changed or, you know, kind of spontaneously put together. And recently, like, we've kind of gotten to this point where, like, if we're doing a live set, if someone says something that reminds us of, like, a different bit that we have, like, out of context, we might put the bit into that moment. Like, kind of, like... in a way that feels like it's like, jazz. Bringing back... It's jazz. Exactly. Yeah.
The theme.
But I think, like, it's taken, you know, like, 4 years of us all, like, being a group together to, like, get to that point where it's like, we can all, like, hear something and be like, we know what this is, and let's, like, play that now. Which is cool. Yeah.
I mean, I do think, like, being... It's like a band. I mean, being like in a collaborative group, like it is like a relationship where it's like you get, like when you're in a relationship with someone for a long time, like romantic relationship, and you can like have a secret language or you talk in a way that other people maybe don't understand.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like that when you have a collaborative, artistic,
you make your own language
relationship where it's like, you can say something really weird and they understand what you mean.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to take that language and go out into the world and try and collaborate with other people. Because you're like, how do I explain to you what I mean when I say, like, make it sound crunchy? Or
totally.
Whatever.
Yeah. And that's why I think my group is sort of at this stage where we're, like, starting to work with, like, new producers or, like, different creative people. And there's, like, sort of this thing of, like, how do we... I mean, honestly, all the collaborations I'm in are kind of at that point where it's, like, if... It's, like, we're so close and we know what we're doing that then when you try to bring someone else in, it's, like... Are we like trying to bring them in as like another member of our group or like
oh my god,
how do we negotiate this? But then I'm also like, it feels like professionally it's like an important skill to like be able to work with new people.
Well, it's interesting. That's so interesting. Like, are we trying to bring? Are they joining?
Are they joining the group?
No, it's
or like how much do we bring them in on our bullshit?
Yeah.
Is your band, has it like always been the same people?
It has been for a long time now. When the band started, it was a 2-piece, and it was with a different drummer, and then we like added in bass, and then we added in keys, and then each of those 3 people changed over the years, and like the drummer Luke has been in since 2015. Lauren was kind of like filling in sometimes in 2015 and joined in 2016, and then like Alex is been in since 2017 or almost 2018. So it's like this group has been the group for a while, for a long time. Yeah,
cool.
But yeah, it's weird.
Is this your favorite iteration of the band?
Oh, I can't say. I mean, it's weird because everyone changed once and at different times. There actually have been like weirdly a lot of iterations where it's like there was Luke was the new drummer, but then there was still
another guy,
the old bassist and key player, and then sometimes. And Gabby, who used to play keys, is like still one of my best friends. So, and we actually, what's amazing is we still collaborate musically for fun. So that is like
great,
exactly ideal.
Never lose it.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't.
No, don't
want to say.
Yeah, don't say.
I wouldn't say that there's a favorite. Anything. I think music is something you keep making forever.
Right.
And
it's a process.
When you're not making it this second, it doesn't exist. So because I'm not playing music right now, I'm not a musician.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And that is being present in life.
Exactly.
Forget everything that happened before and after.
My book, The Artist's Way, at any bookstore near you.
Yeah.
No, but it is like every moment is,
Yeah.
It's always evolving and...
Totally. Yeah, I think about that, like, I think, like, there's been times in my life as a comedian where, like, I saw one person as my, like, partner, and now I don't work with them anymore because I moved across the country. It felt like my finger went into your kneecap.
It felt fine to me.
Slid right in.
I liked it.
Good. It's my special pet. But, like, and she moved across the country, but I'm like, I still would like to think that, like, at any point, if it made sense, like, with collaborators, I really like to, like, I'm like, I don't want any breakups. Like, I want it to be, like, we could always come back together, and if we had the project, like, that's something that we could, like, do together.
Oh, totally.
And I feel like that's, like, you really know a meaningful collaboration when it feels like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I agree.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It is like, I don't know. I feel like it's complicated for me because my first bandmate was my high school boyfriend. So it was very, and when I say high school, I mean I was in high school.
Right.
But that like, and then my second bandmate was his brother. So, and we're still friends, me and David, but I'm not with really, the boyfriend. Not really friends with my ex. And,
right.
But I was just talking to Alex, who's my bandmate and my boyfriend, about this the other day. We were talking about musical collaboration and how, over years of playing music together, you can get to like that place of like whatever. And he was like, yeah, but he said something about my first iteration of my band being really like connected. And I was like, yeah, I mean, because we were like family when we were in love and stuff. Like that's like, you can pretty much make something amazing if you are connected with someone. If you are really deeply
connected.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about how Luke, the drummer of the band now, is like, I mean, I'm really like bad rhythmic, like, not bad rhythmically, I'm a professional musician. I have weird like tempos and stuff, and I write like in this very intuitive way actually that's like the tempos of the songs often follow the words as opposed to like standard like song tempo.
You're not like this is 4/4 so I'm writing a song on 4/4.
A lot of the time like 4/4 isn't it, like even though it is technically 4/4, but it's like but it's not, because it's like the line ends on the like 7th, whatever, like some weird thing with the beats. And Luke is really, really good at like locking in with me because we've been bandmates for so long.
Right.
And honestly, so was my ex, was really good at locking in with me because we were just like fucking crazy. Like when you're just like, we're crazy. Yeah. And you're like love bombing each other. Like of course you're gonna be like rhythmically
like I'm tuning in.
Yeah, like making them great. Yeah. Just like, but that's what all collaboration is like, falling in love.
Yes.
So ideally you don't have like an explosive breakup where you like are sad. And like, the thing with your friend like moving across the country, it's like that's the best possible scenario. I mean, that's how I feel about Gabby, where it's like every day I'm like I got to play in her band over the summer, and I was like, it was my first show since COVID. Right. I got to play keyboard in her band, and I was like, this is so fucking cool to get to like do this with my friend again. Like, it's
that's
nice
what I feel like is the dream as an artist, to like make it with your friends.
Of
like
course.
I'm like more than just like I feel like a lot of people just have like industry dreams of like getting scooped up and like becoming really famous, and I'm like, but the thing that you want is to like be doing, like it would be so much more exciting and exhilarating if we could all do it with the people that we've been like doing it with forever.
Oh my god, I know. Yeah. I mean, okay, do you want to hear a really like sick and twisted tale of the music industry that I think is very telling about me and why I'm not as successful as I probably should be. Yeah. Probably should be.
Should be.
When I was like 19, I was talking to like music managers about, trying to everyone was like, we gotta talk to you because you're 19.
Yeah.
And and I talked to this guy who was lovely, and maybe I should have done it. You know what I mean?
Right.
he was great, and he was a really like serious manager. And he was like, do you want to be? He's like, what are your goals? Like, do you want to be like playing Madison Square Garden in 2 years? Like, do you want to sell at Madison Square Garden in 2 years? Because like I can make that happen. And I was like, I don't know. Like, can Krill play? I was like, which is like, are my friends I would like play chess with? I was like, can they like open if I do that? And he was like, no, that's not part of the plan. That if you want that, and I was like, okay, then no.
Yeah.
And that is like, that decision like is why I'm still like the smallest font at a festival.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a manager still, because like that's like, it's a different, the industry thing is like a different mindset. It's like, why are you, the question is like, not about why, it's no longer about like, why are you making music? It's like, you're making music to be have this place in this industry, and you're constantly like fighting for it, and like, you know,
trying to
feed it to everyone
and hoard it and feed it.
I don't know, there's like a weird,
like consume, like make it easy for them to consume and digest and share and all.
I mean, and I think I just always wanted it to be like, I always want it to be cozy.
Homegrown.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I maybe just, I don't know. It's
interesting because I kind of,
you can smell it.
Yeah.
you can smell it.
Smell it, please.
You know, when someone's doing it wrong.
Oh, when they're doing it wrong. Yeah.
You can smell.
Stinks.
It stinks.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, totally.
It hurts, actually. It physically hurts me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you hear it in the music?
I can.
Yeah.
I think I can.
Interesting.
I'd like to think I can.
Yeah. Makes you sick.
Yeah. It's like too good. You're like, this is too good.
Your friends aren't in this band. Yeah.
Well, it's like, look, I'd love to make music with my friends, and I'd love to be friends with Taylor Swift and make music with her.
Yeah.
But we're not friends, so I guess we're not going to make music together. If I'm being realistic. I have ambitious dreams. I would actually love to make a song with Taylor Swift. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, speak it out.
I'm just saying.
Speak it out. She's gonna listen to she listens to the pod.
I know she's a huge fan of yours.
Yeah,
I know
she's a big fan
you're
of
close with
IDK.
her.
Yeah.
Just, you don't have to, I'm not gonna ask any favors or anything, but if you can let her know about me.
Well,
just
the next party,
whatever. Yeah.
So she might bring you into her bedroom. And I'll let her know.
Wow.
Yeah. when Taylor has a party, like we just like to like kick it in her room. Like it's like so quiet.
She likes to give everyone one-on-one time.
Yeah.
Make them feel.
Okay. Well, I thought it was something.
No, she definitely does that with everyone.
Yeah, she does that for everyone, right? Of course. Yeah.
No, but I do think she's amazing. I'm just giving you an example of something. But
totally.
I do think
like you would love to like make stuff with the big shots.
Sure, or not even the big shots, but certain big shots that I like their work, and I'm interested in it.
Of course.
But I do think there is that friend, and I think when you make something with someone who you don't know, you become friends.
Right.
Also. Yeah. So that's part of it too. It is collaborating with friends. Ideally.
Yes.
But it's
Actually, it's funny because this friend who moved away, we had a moment we had like a time that was like a difficult transition for us as like far as like being friends and collaborators and what was going to happen. And this was before she moved, but like I remember having this thing where I was like, okay, our friendship is struggling. Are we going to be friends or are we going to be collaborators? Because in order for us to be good collaborators, like we have to be friends.
Yeah.
But
it's so hard. And it's hard because when you're collaborating in something that you're obsessed with. Yeah. And all you can think about, I mean, this is what's so scary about pursuing art, especially as a job, I think, is you're obsessed with your thing and wanting to make it every second. Right. And so you do put your friendships and other relationships to the side, like to nurture your art thing. Right. But it's when your collaborator is your friendship also. You're like, how do I nurture the project and our friend? How do we
You have to do like relationship work.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah. It's really simple actually. You have to work on the relationship. No, but it's impossible. When in the middle of trying to make the thing.
Exactly.
It's like there's never a good time to do it.
And then did you guys heal?
We did heal.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then we worked on something together during the pandemic. So it was amazing. But it is like, it's funny because like my comedy is so invested in collaboration. Like a lot of what I do is with other people. And so like, I find that I'm like, I've actually gotten really good at interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, cool.
Like, I feel like I could be like some kind of guru for my family or something. Because I just feel like I'm like, so much of what I'm doing is like working with groups and like figuring out how to make everyone feel good. And blah, blah, blah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking about what you said about the like the industry versus like the more kind of like cozy approach, and I'm like, I feel like that's something that like as I have gotten in my own career too, I've had this feeling of being like the stuff that used to appeal to me, that I used to think I would want, like for my own career, I'm like, I actually don't think that matters as much to me anymore. And not that I don't want what people who are more successful have, and the kind of what you're talking about, the access that they have to like people that they're interested in, or artists that they're interested in, and like the resources, but also being like, oh, I actually see art and like community as like so entwined, and like think that that's like a really meaningful way to like make stuff, and I like maintaining a connection there, even if it's not the thing that like makes you big.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm just thinking about, I thought of another kind of train that's not.
Okay, go. Let's follow it.
It's from what we were saying before about you being good at interpersonal
relationships. Yeah.
And
I kind of went. I jumped back. So
well, but we can follow both threads. But that like both. A lot of art forms, maybe not like being a painter, but being a painter. Honestly, I would venture to say every form of art. Okay,
go.
Comedy,
make the jump.
Music,
we don't know.
Visual art, we don't know. Is
take the leap.
A social job, and often a job in the nightlife industry.
Yes, nightlife. Yeah.
So in a way, it's weird because being an artist is like this isolated, weird, like often like internal practice.
Right.
And you're like so focused on your own like work, and you like don't have any friends or family, or like you can't like be like chained down. Like, 'cause you're like an artist, and then you're like the most social person. You have to be the most social person like every second for your job,
right?
Like, or at your job,
right?
I mean, I don't know, it's kind of a weird, it's like being a bartender or something, where it's like your job is to be nice to everyone.
To craft cocktails alone in your room.
No, you're like, you gotta like focus on, I can't like have a relationship, like, focus on my cocktails. No, but it is, I don't know, it's like a weird, like that you're both like the most antisocial form of person and the most social job. Yes. And they like are, like, that's why art as a career is like bad. It's like art is not supposed to be a career, because it's like, it becomes like you have to be an influencer or something, which is like the opposite of making art. It's like antithetical to making art. I don't know. Right. Or like a socialite or something, like go out and like be seen at the comedy clubs. I don't know. Totally. In the art, in the visual art world, it's like that.
That's what it seems like. It's like the only way you get shows and stuff is by like schmoozing and stuff.
Yeah, you like wear a beret and like sunglasses inside.
Yeah, it is true. Like the industry works so much like socially, and that's like something you like don't really get like on the outside. Like, the people that I know who have been very successful are often people who are like connected in somehow to someone or something, and that's like something that is just how it works. You know what I mean?
Well, it's also like so many like big like business moments happen over like drinks, right? Like, and if you are someone who doesn't drink, you just aren't there for those moments, right? And you're like, okay, I guess I don't get to like
do the thing. Be in the back room. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's a weird. That's weird. Interesting. Yeah. Do you find that when you're like working on an album, you kind of like swirl away and shun, or you did that at some point?
I think, I don't know, working on an album is such like a vague, it's such a long process.
I have no idea what it's like either.
I mean, for me, it's like I write songs alone, like for years, and then make an album with those songs, like with my band, and like we'll arrange it, we'll get together and we'll like arrange very intensely, and then we'll record, and it's just the band and like two other people who are like the recording engineers, is what we did this time. And that's like the most people that are in the room, and so it is a lot of swirling around.
I know you're one of your producer guys,
Nate. Oh my god, how do you know Nate?
He went to college with some people in my group, Ladies Ranch.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Obies?
They're the Obies.
They're Obies?
Yeah. Wow. And then I saw a picture, and then he dated my roommate at some point, and I saw a picture of him, and I thought, hey, I know that guy.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I saw him, he came to one of our shows like probably last month or something, and I was like, I showed you a cool picture.
That's so funny. We love Nate.
Yeah. How'd you meet him?
It's so crazy. He was like randomly assigned to us by the recording studio as like a we worked at the studio in Brooklyn called Figure 8, and we brought in like our pal Gabe to produce our last record, Gabe Wax, and he was going to produce it. And Figure 8 was like, well, you need a Figure 8 person to like engineer it, or like be like an assistant engineer, because like he knows someone who knows the
our
studio.
System or whatever. And
so they randomly assigned us Nate, and they were like, you only need him for the first, like, we're only gonna like make you use him for the first, like, it was something like 5 days or whatever, or 2 days, and then I think it was like 5 days, and then you don't have to, he'll leave you to it or whatever.
Right.
And then after like the 5th day, we were like, should we just like ask this guy if he wants to stay and like, pay him to like keep here?
Working on it? Yeah.
And we did. And then when it came time to make this record, we were like, let's just call Nate, and like we became friends since then. Yeah. We became friends, and we ended up going on a tour where he was like playing saxophone in our like the people
cool.
that were opening for us, and who also was like an intern at Figure 8, which is where we met them, and just like we just adored him, honestly. Wow. Yeah,
that's amazing.
So, and then his roommate, they are like a recording production team together. Katie von Schlier. Katie von Schlier.
That's an amazing name.
Yeah.
Von Schlier.
Schlier. I actually don't know how to say it. I say it different every time.
Maybe.
It's not her. I don't know.
It's not her name.
It's not her real name. It's a stage name.
Do you think Frankie Cosmos as your stage name?
Yeah, or it's a band name.
Right.
I think it's a band name.
It's a band name.
Yeah. Katie von Schlier is her stage name, and I guess it's her band.
Her real name is Katie Doinkle.
Her real name is Katie Doinkle.
Yeah.
You know her?
Yeah, I just intuited that.
I'll ask her if I should bleep this, but her real name is Katie. She's really talented. She makes amazing music also. And we didn't know her until we made this record. Nate was like, can I bring Katie? Because we are trying to produce stuff together. We were like, yeah, let's do it. And now we're obsessed with her.
Wow.
So,
you guys think you'll keep making records all together?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, I love them.
Yeah.
It's hard recording music is really fun. It's like my favorite part.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find, like, it's hard to get that vibe right,
Right.
It's a really concentrated time. It's like all the recording takes place in like a 10-day period.
Right.
And that's like the whole budget is blown on that 10-day period, and then it's gone.
Right.
So you kind of like, you only have 10 days. Yeah. I would love to make a record for like 3 months.
Yeah. It costs too much.
Yeah. If I had gone with that manager when I was 19, I probably could.
Yeah. And you could fund it all yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. From my one night at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, you should find his information. Yeah. And you should let him know that you're ready now.
I think about him a lot.
To leave everyone behind.
Yeah. No, but yes, I love to make music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's funny that you know Nate.
Yeah. It's funny that I remember, because I met you, but this is for everyone at home. I met you, we have known who each other are since we were children, because we have a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And I remember she was talking about like, so even before I had like listened to any of your music, I like knew you were a musician.
I feel that we should say that our best friends were camp best friends.
Yes.
So we're basically best friends.
Yes.
through
one day we'll get rid of them, and then we can be.
No, but it's interesting because the camp best friend thing is like I don't know about you, but I was always like, who's Peppa? Like,
right.
I don't know if you were like, who's Eliza? Who's this Eliza you come home from the summer talking about?
Right.
So it's interesting.
But
so I don't actually know.
I thought you went to that camp.
I didn't.
Oh my god.
I was just Eliza and I were just inseparable. So she just like let me. She was like, this girl from camp's like coming for a sleepover. Like, can you come? You know, it's like
Can
you come and be a buffer? Be a buffer? Like, like, I don't know, or something. You know, I ended up being good friends with her too.
Yeah, and I remember her like going to New York and like kind of seeing your early shows and stuff like that.
Oh.
And she was always talking about
why did she ever bring you?
I don't know.
What the hell?
I don't know.
She's trying to keep us apart.
Yeah, she knew
Toxic.
It would just be too powerful once you got us in a room together.
Yeah.
And I remember like you talking about music, and you're like, it's just like so easy. Like, it's just like so easy to write music, and like so
I said that?
Yeah.
To you?
No, to her, not to me.
Oh, interesting.
Or maybe it just had to do with like the
like what you just said to me about painting. You're like, never have I done something that was naturally
so easy. It was so good. But I think maybe it was more about like less about the actual writing of the songs and more about like how you managed to like carve out a little place for yourself, like as an artist right away, of being like, you know, you just write a bunch of songs and then you like go and play shows and then like people like it.
So it just like falls into your lap, especially when you're 17.
I do think I'm like, it's so like when people are young, it's like so people love them. Yeah, it's really crazy.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the younger you are.
So I was actually thinking earlier when I was saying that a lot of the big decisions are made in rooms over drinks.
Oh.
I was thinking, and those decisions are about people who aren't even of drinking age.
Wow.
For the most part, those decisions are being made about 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, or 17-year-olds or whatever.
Really
it's
young.
Like, that's who has the most promise.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they want to make money off you for years.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of old freaks like me being like, how can I make money off 18?
Yeah, they don't know anything.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe an 18-year-old will let me write a song for them.
Yeah.
Then they'll go on tour and I won't have to, you know? It's so sick.
Wow. I actually have a dream to go on tour.
Do you?
Yeah.
In what capacity?
Well, I kind of...
The pod?
With the pod, yeah, we're gonna play stadiums. This is my pod. I'm trying to do 2,000. They do. It's funny because I'm actually doing this podcast now with like Eternal Family is this place that's gonna put out the podcast for me.
Shout out.
And they've got good viewership, but I was like, I haven't really thought about anything with this podcast as far. I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna feel it out, and it's just gonna feel amazing. And like that's how I'm gonna do it.
That's the way to do it.
Right?
That's why like, Eternal Family cares about you.
They wanted me.
They were like, sounds good.
Yeah.
And that's actually the best thing you can do is find someone that's like, great, do your fucking weird thing, and we won't ask you to do anything about it. That's what I appreciate. I would rather be on a label like that than have a million months to make all the money in the world.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt, where I was like, okay, I can't really turn this down, Drew, because this is an amazing opportunity to just like use some of your resources and
Did they send you this camera?
No. I had all the shit already. Oh. Yeah, but they're gonna pay for my podcast host, like the host website.
Oh, nice. Wait, so what kind of tour do you want to go on?
Oh, like a company tour.
Yeah. Like with
one of the groups.
Yeah,
Simpletown on Lazy Ranch, and
cool.
I kind of felt like Simpletown was like a little bit closer to maybe doing that, or there was more interest in it from the group. But now I'm getting nervous that like we're getting to the stage in my life where like everyone's like nearing 30 and like people are like not willing to do like the shitty.
Like their backs hurt.
And they like, if we're gonna go someplace for a week, like we want everyone to have their own bed and stuff like that. And I'm like, this like dirty, like
it adds up.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I kind of want it. Like, I don't mind sleeping on the floor or something.
Yeah.
Because I just want the dream. But I'm like, oh, but all my friends are getting too old that like we don't want to do that anymore. And I'm like feeling sort of the panic, being like, I gotta make a tour happen like fast.
I've always been the youngest member of my band, like every iteration, and I'm always like. I've always been like, yeah, I'll sleep on the floor or whatever, like, and you old folks can have the bed or whatever. And it's like, I'm now, I can't see myself for it. But now, I mean, for the last couple of years before we stopped touring, because of the thing that happened to all of us. But we were staying in hotels and Airbnbs, like, for the most part.
Right.
But that stuff has gone up in price so much. It's made touring really like hard cost-wise for a lot of artists, especially artists our size, because we're not playing, you know, huge. The safest way to tour right now is in a bus, which is there's apparently like bidding wars over tour buses because everyone's trying to go back on the road, and it's like
an RV essentially,
like a bus, like a bus with beds,
yeah,
and there's a driver. You pay a driver like $1,000 a day to drive you while you sleep and you wake up in the new city. I've never toured on a bus in my life. We spend the whole day driving, and then we play a show, and then we go to sleep, and then we spend the whole day driving, and then we play a show. Like, we just always like drive every day.
Right.
But for whatever reason, yeah, everything's just way more expensive now.
Wow.
But the first few years of touring, we were always sleeping on hardwood floors often.
Yes.
Sleeping bag or whatever. And
yeah. That's like Simpletown's going to London in March, which is
cool.
And I've been like I really want the guys, like 3 of the people in the group live together, and I'm like, come on, like.
Wait, how many total are there?
There's 5 of us total.
Okay, so only 2 of you are left out.
Only 2 of us are left out of the living situation. Yeah.
Interesting. I thought you were going to say we're going to London and 3 of them are British.
No.
I thought you were about to tell me that for some reason. Okay. You did not sound British when I saw that.
But they're all like, I want them to like put their apartment online so that we could do like a swap, which I think they're gonna explore.
What do you mean do a swap?
Like an apartment swap,
a London swap.
Yeah, so like if there's someone in London who wants to take a vacation to New York City, and then we could save lots of money that way.
That's a really cool idea.
Which
but
I
also
think
really risky.
Yeah, that's and it's not my apartment either. Yeah. So. I'm gonna
like
check the time.
Most of your band, it's like most of your group's apartment.
Yeah.
It's 3.
That's what I feel like. It's like I should have rights to the apartment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We used to always on my first tours when I was like sleeping on floors and stuff, we would always be like measuring the net suffering of the group, and because like one of us, 2 of us were a couple and the other 2 weren't, we'd be like, well, if the couple gets the bed, that's like half the band sleeps in a bed. But if one of you gets the bed, it's like only 1/4 of the band is sleeping in a bed, and it's like the net suffering goes way up.
So I have to be in the bed.
The couple always gets the bed because it's like more bandmates suffer less. It's really evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys know.
Suffering. Do you think life is about suffering, or do you think life is about love, or do you think life is about something else?
Whoa. I think it's about love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I hate suffering.
Suffering sucks.
I try and never do it if I can.
Yeah.
But
in general, we're trying to overcome suffering.
Yeah. It's so. I mean, the most horrible thing in the world is that people are suffering this very moment.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Horrible.
And we're having such a pleasant time.
We're really chilling.
Yeah. We're having such a pleasant time. In some way, just kind of shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I feel like we have come to the end, actually.
Oh my God.
Of the podcast.
Whoa. That happened really fast.
I'm doing short episodes because that was a recommendation from our mutual best friend, Pippa. Because she was like, if I see a podcast that's like over an hour, I don't want to listen to it.
Wow.
So I'm shooting for 45 minutes. And let me tell you what, Greta?
You're going to edit it.
No. I'm not going to edit it. Okay. Do you want me to edit it?
No, I'm just...
Okay. But we have passed 45 minutes. And we had a really good time.
Wow.
And I feel like we could have even talked about more stuff.
I know, I'm ready to keep talking.
Right? Well, we can keep going a little bit.
I want to get at the core of life.
But not knowing.
I want to get...
We didn't talk about life, and that's what the podcast is about.
What is life?
What is life?
Maybe second episode.
We could do it again. Yeah. See, that's the thing is, like, it's an ongoing project. It's evolving. I don't know what the podcast is going to be, and every time I do it, I learn something new. I discover something new.
Yeah. What did you discover today? I'm just joking.
I discovered... Whispering the pandemic.
Yeah.
I realized that that's more respectful.
Yeah.
Pandemic.
Yeah.
It reminds me of one time I made a video where I did like an interview with my mom when I was in college, and when she talked about she was telling her story about like moving out to Connecticut from New York, and she was like, and then we moved to Connecticut around the time that I was pregnant with you. like
so
voice like censored, so shameful about being pregnant
with you.
Yeah.
Really
yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. It's really interesting the words that grown-ups whisper. Yeah.
Yes, like it really showed something about pregnant COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. And I want to talk about your aunt who's a witch. Oh, I know. So I feel like maybe
you should have her on.
I could have her on. Would she do that?
I don't know if she would.
Is she secretive?
Yeah, she's very private. Yeah. But
this is the least private thing I'm ever doing in my life.
Yeah.
and I hope that I don't regret it. Because I do kind of feel private in a lot of ways.
I regret every time I click post.
Really?
Anything.
Wow.
Yeah. TikTok,
do you put it down?
TikTok is the rawest thing that I do. Probably,
right.
You know.
Oh, and you're doing the Playtronics?
Yeah, I'm not recently, but yeah.
That was cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I entered into the raffle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I saw that and I was like, I want that.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah. Wow, well,
cool.
This could keep on going.
Yeah.
And we'll probably keep talking.
Yeah.
But thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to Greta, Kline. I didn't even give an intro to you or anything, but whatever.
Random.
Just like some random fucking person who doesn't know anything. I don't know why I asked her to be on this podcast.
7, 8, 9, rest being alive. I see you in everything. My vocabulary.